and afternoon. My name is Hannah Olivas from She Rises Studios in Phoenix TV. I am here today. Tuesdays are our Light the Torch days, where we get to announce these amazing authors, their books, their creativity, masterpieces, and everything in between. And I am joined by another phenomenal national and international bestselling author, Leigh Lincoln, who has written her newest and latest, The Wandering Mother. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk. Um, you are currently on the road. You travel, you do a ton of traveling. So I have to ask, is there any connection to the book title of The Wandering? Give me a little sneak peek of what readers can expect from this book.
So, Wandering Mother is the second in the Path to Family series. So, I started a series on adoption last year with Lost Father, which is a birth father story. And so, Wandering Mother is now the birth mother story, which connects to that book last year. And so, she's pretty lost in life, not just because she gave birth to a child that she was unfortunately unable to keep, but because of circumstances in her life, both before the birth of the child and after. And so she just ends up really lost in life. And I did a lot of research for this book last year, traveling around the country, talking to birth mothers, and getting their stories and talking to them. And I also talked to several people who used to work in homes for unwed mothers. So yeah, part of my travels are doing research for books. And so this year, as I've traveled, I've been talking to a lot of adoptees and a lot of people who adopted children for the next in the series that's coming up in the next couple of years. So yeah, part of what I'm doing is research for these books.
So, what made you even think to do something like this, to write about this, to do the research that you're talking about? What prompted you?
I'm adopted. So I was originally going to do just one book on adoption. But then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, no, everyone involved in the story has their own perspective and their own viewpoint. And yes, they're all connected, but not in the way most people think. And so I
Mm.
really wanted to showcase everyone's point of view. And the more I talked to my own parents who adopted me, I really felt like this just really needs to be showcased and showcased well. And so this is why I decided to do that. And a lot of people have asked, have I found my own birth parents? Well, I have found my birth father, but I have yet to find my birth mother. So yeah, this
Mm.
is really personal to me,
Mhm.
and I want to do it really well and really show that adoption isn't necessarily what people think it is.
In the book, you have shared that Donna, who is someone in the book, the story is filled with her story, I should say, filled with burying pain, regrets. What inspired you personally to even create a character like Donna in the book?
Well, as I was talking to some of these birth mothers who were in homes for unwed mothers, a lot of them expressed that this was so shameful back in the day that it took them years to even admit that they had had these babies. And part of
Mm.
that is because they were told that they should keep this a secret. And so I really wanted it to show this, that as a society that we devalued these women back in the
Mm.
day, and we shouldn't have. And we still a lot of times treat women this way,
Mhm.
whether it be because they've gotten pregnant or because they don't necessarily fit the mold we think women should fit in. So I really wanted to showcase this because the way we treat women so often is just atrocious.
Mm.
And yeah, we've moved past some of it, but we still haven't moved past all of it. And I hear from so many women. I was talking to a woman a couple weekends ago, even when she heard a little bit about this, she's like, this happened to me last week. And she started telling me this story about something that happened to her in her job, where she just completely got talked down to by some man. So this is why I wanted to do this, and do this. I hope I did it well. Let's put it that way, because this happens to women all of the time, and we just end up just stuffing it all down, and just feeling like we are so worthless because of this stuff. And so this is why I want to really do this.
But the reality is, we're not worthless. We're worthy, for
Right.
sure.
And that's the reality. And this is what I want to bring on in this book, that while this character really struggles with this, there are people in this book that try to help her out of
Mhm.
this deep funk that she gets herself in, because of the
Mm.
wrong people telling her the wrong things for one too many years.
You talk a little bit about that too, and I don't want to give too much away, because the idea is we want, readers to grab this book and read it. But during Donna's journey of self discovery, she's triggered by the reappearance of her daughter she gave away. And what Donna's forced to reevaluate some of the things, from her past. And you talk about forgiveness and the healing process. Can you just share a little bit about that piece of the book?
Well, because I think a lot of times, until we're forced to, a lot of people just, they don't see that self-forgiveness is the biggest piece of all. We're willing
Mm,
to forgive other people, but we're not willing to forgive ourselves until someone kind of slaps us in the face and say, it's okay that you you circumstances were such, and
mm.
what you did was the best you could do at the time, and it was okay. And that is one of the hardest things to do. And a lot of times we aren't willing to walk that road. And
Mm.
so I try to write that in all of my books, to where all of my characters have that moment where they really need to see themselves in that light.
You are so, I've gotten to know you over time and all the different things that you've been doing, and your creative genius zone never ceases to amaze me. Just your perspective on life, how you deal with things, how you look at things, how you speak about it, you write about it. Like, where does it all come from?
I'm a 50 something year old woman who's lived a lot of variety of experiences.
But you've turned them all into something. Like, some people would just take it as lemons, some of it, right? But you've always managed to find the joy in everything. And like, every time I've seen you, you're smiling. It's beautiful to see the journey. And to me, I feel like your journey is still just on the beginning level. You travel, you teach. I mean, you've inspired so many other authors to want to step out of their comfort zone and share stories. I mean,
Well,
it's
joy is a point of view, and this is what a lot of people also don't understand, is you choose joy. Joy is not something that comes from outside. Joy comes from
mm,
within, and you choose joy every day. So you are alive and breathing, therefore you can choose joy. And um that is really hard for a lot of people to accept. They're like, I can't be in that moment because this happened. No, you can be in that moment because this happened, because
mhm,
joy is a point of view. And a lot of people just really fail on that. And so I choose joy every moment. And it doesn't matter what happens around me. Bad things happen. That's life. Life
yeah.
is life, right? But you choose joy every moment, and you just choose it. And then you can have a happy little smile on your face, even if your car breaks down, or you're the hurricane just happened. Hey, yeah, okay, you choose joy today. This
Mm,
is your choice. And yeah, and this is what I try to also put into my characters, as they really have a lot of struggles, and in the end I really try to have them change their viewpoint so that they're seeing a tiny touch of joy, because they weren't for a very long time. And so I really try to put that in to my books too, because this is really hard for people to see that this is an option.
mhm,
Because I don't think we're taught that. Most people aren't, at least I don't think. And so then they're like, this happened and now my world is just falling apart. And I'm like, why? I
mm.
just, you know.
Yeah. So, what is one of the biggest goals for you, for the readers, who people who read this book? What do you hope the biggest takeaway is?
I hope that they will, the same as last year, see adoption in a little bit different viewpoint, and see that it's a beautiful, beautiful gift,
Mm,
which a lot of people don't see it that way. Um, and they also don't see that there can be this beautiful connection between birth parents, adoptees, and people who adopt children. And I want them to see this a little differently, because I talk to so many people and they really don't get adoption at all.
mm,
Um, and I want them to see it for the beautiful gift that it is, rather than um, something that is given up or given away. It is a
mm,
gift.
mhm,
And I want them to see that. And I realize a lot of I don't want them. I understand this is kind of political right now, especially, right? And but I don't want people to see that. I want them to see it for the gift that it is. um it's a child, and
mhm.
it's a beautiful gift.
I think that you mentioned people have asked you, "Have you found your birth mother? Have you found your birth father?" You said you did find your birth father. Finding him, what was that like for you?
The first day I met him, well, it took like a year after I found him before I was able to meet him,
Mm,
for a lot of reasons, partially because neither one of us were ready. Um, it's not easy to connect. And
mhm,
that day that I met him, I was so nervous. I was just like in a panic, because I was like, this is not going to work. We are not going to connect. This is just going to be awful. Like, I've opened this can of worms. This is just a nightmare, right? But it actually was, for us, it turned out to be a beautiful thing. He needed to let go of some things that he'd been holding on to for a very long time. And I needed to find that person that is me, because no
mhm,
one in my family is me. And that is really
mhm,
hard for people to understand, right? No one looks like me, no one acts like me, no one is me,
mhm.
right? And that's nothing against my parents. My parents are beautiful. I love my parents. This has nothing to do with my parents, and my parents understand that. But
Yeah.
I needed to connect with me and people that are like me. And so I, it we're now slowly building a relationship, my father and I. Um, but it is slow going, and it is not easy, because we really don't know each other, and it's a fragile little bond we're building, right?
Mhm,
Which is good, and it's good for both of us, but it's hard on for both of us for different reasons. But I've talked to other adoptees where it didn't go as good, right? And it was like a train wreck, right? And but for me, it's been good, and I'm really glad we've connected, and I'm really glad we're getting to know each other slowly, and it's been good. And I have this half sister that I'm slowly getting to know, and that's good too. And um, that's also a beautiful thing. And I'm really enjoying this whole side of of me that I'm getting to know. And again, this whole nature nurture thing, that it's really kind of hard to explain to people who aren't adopted don't have this whole dual thing going on. Because I say now I have two fathers, and people are like, oh, you have a stepdad. No, I really have two fathers. I have the one who raised me and the one who helped me get conceived in the universe, right? It's
Right.
really, I have two dads. And it's really kind of hard to explain to a lot of people. And people are like, I don't quite get this. Why are you calling them both dad? And I'm like, because it's kind of comfortable to me. But I
Yeah.
get why you're kind of weird with this.
I think it's amazing how you're open and receptive to trying. A lot of people might not even try. It might be too much. They might be afraid. They might feel all the feelings of rejection. Who knows? I wasn't personally raised by both my parents full time. I was raised by my grandparents, and I actually asked the question a couple of times, am I adopted? Because I didn't look like anybody in my family. I don't feel like anyone in my family, but the reality is I'm not adopted. But that feeling of that connection that you're talking about, unless, some don't get it, you have to find the people who get it to really understand it. So you have this beautiful book that released today, Wandering Mother. And you have written all these different books. You have been on the author journey for quite some time. So I'm sure you know what I'm going to ask you next. What is next for you?
Well, I've already started writing the next book in this series. I started about a month ago as we were starting to do the edits for Wandering Mother. It doesn't have a title yet, but the third book of the series will be the couple who adopts the child. And I am so excited with this one because there are so many little tweaks in this one that I want to do. And I don't, of course, want to write my parents' story because that would be unfair. But I'm just so excited to just have this next little piece of the puzzle in place and bring that out in the world. And of course, I'm just wandering around living my best life and just talking to people about all kinds of things and just having so much fun. And just author life is just a trip into itself. So
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of your time traveling to different states, meeting new people. I mean, that's a book in itself. Um, just the journey that you've been on. I mean, every time I see you or talk to you, you're never in the same place. Um, it's because this is your lifestyle. It's beautiful. You have the freedom to come and go, explore. What has been one of your favorite parts about becoming an author and really just traveling and getting to meet all the different people and doing the things that you do?
well, it has allowed me to connect with people, not just online, but in person all over the
Mm.
country and all over the world, because I travel overseas quite a bit too. And just having people feel like they're my new best friend. And that is just fun. I get emails from readers who just love my books and they love meeting me in person at these little events that I do. And I just love all of these little connections that I make. And you never can have too many people that you know. And I love it
Mm.
when I can take someone that I've met online and then go to their town and meet them in person and just give them a hug. And that's just so beautiful and fun for me. And I love the fact that being an author allows me to do that. Have laptop, can travel. I'm not tied to anywhere. And that's really, really great about what I do. And
Yeah,
I know
and
some people think it's a little odd, but
I think it's beautiful to be able to go to pack up, to go to travel, to be able to take your work with you, experience the beauty of life. I think it's a gift, honestly. So keep embracing that gift because and it's brave. I mean, think about it. How many people would say, you know what, I'm just going to go and I'm going on the road and I'm trusting the process. So many of us are afraid to take that step, um, even to write a book. Now, how many books is this for you in total that you've written to date?
This is the sixth novel, and then I have a couple other little things. So, but the novels are the most important, and this is six.
Wow. Well, congratulations to you. So, Wandering Mother is currently on Amazon in 13 countries. You can order it today. I definitely encourage you grab this book, read all of her books, honestly. Connect with Leigh. She's easy to find, very fun to talk to. She's a lot of fun. I've gotten to meet you in person. I've seen a lot of you. I think it's really amazing what you're doing and sharing your journey. And I feel like this is a passion project for you, this specific book. It's so close to home. And so wishing you so much success, love, joy, new endeavors, and Wandering Mother by Leigh Lincoln. You can grab your copy today. This book is going to be ebook, paperback, so have the best of both worlds. We're heading into gifting season, so you can give this book as a gift. Leigh is also open to reviews. And as she mentioned, everyone loves her books because what is not to love? So, we can come together as a community and support the talent, the creativity behind Leigh and all of these authors. And, picking up the pen is beautiful in itself. So thank you for leading by example, Leigh, and congratulations to you on your book, Wandering Mother.
Thank you. And a portion of every book sold from the Path to Family series goes to a charity in Florida that supports birth mothers.
How can they connect with you, or what would be the best way for people to help with that and support that?
Go to my website, leighlincolnauthor.com. All the information about my books is there, and the information about the charities I support is on my website.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing. And that's a beautiful sentiment to do that as well. Please be sure to share that in the community so that you never know who else would want to support. And, that's an act of love, an act of kindness. So thank you for sharing. And everyone get the book. All right, Leigh, congratulations to you. Wandering Mother, available now all across Amazon. It also will become available in many of the fine retailers. You can order it online. And I can't wait for you to read this book. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Leigh. Have a great day.